hosts, Jeremy and Daryl.
Hey, everybody! I cannot hear you, Jeremy. This is what live podcasting is all about, everybody. I am going to stop the video. Hopefully. Give me 1 second, because I'm going to have to do the intro again.
Welcome to the Chain Out podcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Daryl.
There you go. Now we are officially live.
And I don't even know if my hello.
No, I can't hear you, Jeremy.
All right.
But that's okay. Do you want to take a second to... hey, Mark. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Keelan. Hey, Sonia. Hey, Brock. Lots of people in the chat today, Jeremy, but I cannot hear you. But you look different today. Do you want to try and fix your sound a minute? Okay. Well, while Jeremy fixes his sound, fixes his audio, you probably just have to select your... Yeah, okay, Jeremy. Don't ham it up. Just select the right input for your microphone. We have 5 people in the chat right now. So Mark, Andrea, Keelan, Sonia, and Brock. Hey, we have 7 people now. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, Kevin? Jeremy's having audio issues right now. Yeah, sure. Hey, Kristen. Oh, apparently. Oh, wait a second. Can everybody hear Jeremy?
You guys can hear me?
Because I cannot hear you. But that doesn't mean... I don't know. Can everybody hear Jeremy?
Well, you know what, though, Daryl?
I think you might need to... Okay, just fix your audio, Jeremy. Yeah. So, we... and now he's turned off his camera. So, I should text Jeremy to let him know to turn it back on again. Hang on, I'm podcasting. Hey, Jeremy! Did we get you? Did we fold you, didn't we? We fooled everybody.
Did we?
I don't know.
And they might have thought that, hey, we just had a problem with the with our sound and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to adjust our camera.
Oh, yeah, come on. We're professionals. That was all part of the skit.
There we go. Hey, everybody. I'm sure you can hear me now.
You must be able to hear, because if you can hear me, you can hear Jeremy.
There you go.
Well, Jeremy.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. We can actually do one in
person.
Nobody's reacting in the chat yet, but I know that it's a couple minutes or it's a couple seconds behind.
Yeah, it's like a slow play for everybody to get excited and to actually see the reveal. We're like,
exactly.
Hey, we already did that like 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, I'm waiting for suddenly people to start like laughing or, you got me or whatever in the chat. But
well, that's fine. While we're waiting for that, we should be talking about. We got some people good. It looks
Mark,
like
we got Mark. Sonia says cheers. There you go. It worked. It was good.
It worked. It was great. Yeah. So awesome, everybody. Welcome to the live Ask Me Anything. We're just already excited to see how many people are in the chat. What we were thinking was, now that we're doing live episodes, we want to get ourselves onto a schedule where we can record a live episode and then release it right the next day.
Yeah.
So last week we did the episode with Matt, and then we held on to it, released it this morning.
Yeah.
We didn't want you guys have to wait a whole week before you saw the next piece of content from us.
Yeah.
So we thought, why not do a quick little Ask Me Anything? Maybe it's quick, maybe it's not. We'll kind of hang around as long as
that depends
you guys
on
want to hang around.
That depends on everybody. See, we're already talking over each other. That's just me. That really depends on you guys how long you want this episode to be. Because if you want it to be long, keep asking us questions and find out how much you want to know about us. Maybe people don't care and don't want to know anything about us.
Well, that's it. But we're going to air it all out there anyways. The only things: do not ask me my pet's name, my grandmother's maiden name, what street I grew up on. Those are not questions we'll be answering tonight. But you know what, though, too, we were talking about that is when we do the actual recordings of the interviews, we tend to overtalk each other, but we believe that's because there's a slight delay. Now we're going to find out if that really is the case or just Jeremy just can't stop talking.
I'm keeping my lips quiet, keeping my lips closed to make sure that I don't.
Oh, that's awesome. So,
Andrea thought you might have been on a Chromebook because we did have a bit of an issue this week trying to figure out the more technology side of it, that apparently Chromebooks don't work for what we need them to work for. But
yeah, and you know what, Andrea, it could have been the case. There was a little bit of a technical thing there, maybe, but it was all part of the ploy to try and put a surprise in our first Ask Me Anything.
there you go. Yeah.
So Daryl,
So should we just? Oh, we got 10 people in the chat. I would like to know. It just tells me that there's 10 people in the chat, but I don't know who's in the chat until
they show up.
they start talking. People just come into the chat and then just hide away.
Yeah,
But,
so if you do show up in the chat, just throw a wave, throw a happy face, throw
Yeah.
something in there.
Something we did last week, and what I'm trying to encourage is that every time you come into the chat, if you're new to the chat, just kind of introduce yourself, and then I'm sure everybody else will make you feel welcome, and they'll introduce, and then we'll have our own. I like to say chain out gang, but other people say chain gang.
Yeah,
But
Rusty Chains. There was something about that.
Well, I think we're the Rusty Chains.
Oh, right. Yeah.
'cause
Oh,
we're the
Chain
old
Out
guys.
Gang. Yeah, we were saying, you know what? If you guys like that term, I think Daryl coined it when we first started. There's a question for you. Some of these ideas were how long ago did we think of them? When did you think of this idea, Daryl, for Chain Out Gang? How long ago?
That was funny because that was like in our early days.
Yes.
When we had these. It's kind of a double-edged sword because, or 1 minute we're thinking we're just two guys from Edmonton and we're starting a disc golf podcast. We're two amateur MA40s. Who's going to want to listen to what we're doing? So maybe if we get 3 or 4 people listening, great. We've done, we've tried it and we failed, or we've tried it and we've succeeded.
Yeah.
But then another part of my mind is like, yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if we interviewed this person, or wouldn't it be cool if we interviewed that person? And once we get monetized, then we'll be able to like do more giveaways. And then once we get monetized, then how do we get monetized? Well, let's start our own Patreon.
The cart was so far ahead of the horse.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, it was a matter of let's just do this. Let's talk about disc golf. We love disc golf. Let's try and share that passion and see if anybody else enjoys it.
Yeah,
the same way we do. And we're so happy that you guys are, and the way you're supporting, the fact that we got 9-10 people here right now. Fantastic. Yeah. That's amazing. So, but yeah, let's go back to that. So once Daryl took us all the way down the path to Patreon, he already had a name for Patreon members, and that was?
Well, because I've heard other people, so maybe this is a question for later, but people that like Taylor Swift, they're called Swifties.
Yes, they most
people that like
are.
Justin Bieber are believers. Like they kind of name themselves, is what I hear. You can't name your followers.
Right.
But
are you calling our listeners followers? Come on.
No, sorry. Again,
our kind listeners.
Our kind listeners that actually humor us for an hour and a half every week.
Yes.
I just thought, what's another name for a group of people is a gang.
Yes. Yeah.
And we are Chain Out.
Chain Out, yeah.
And if you put Chain Out and Gang together, you get Chain Out Gang.
Yes.
But what happens, Jeremy, and it all links in together, if you take the first letter of Chain Out Gang.
Yeah, COG.
Yeah.
That's a cog.
We could our adoring fans could be cogs.
Cogs, yeah. We don't know if you like that. That's what we'll start referring to.
No, all right. Let me rephrase that. Because I don't want to end it on the fact that I called them adoring fans.
Okay, continue.
Yeah.
What were you going to say then?
Well, I don't know. That was one of those overreaching cart before the horse, like ridiculous thoughts that we had in the beginning. Like, so yeah. Well, we're not going to call them anything. I don't think we need to call anybody anything. So,
well, I do see that Mark has said in the comments there, aren't we the links that keep you going and together? True.
The links, yeah.
The links. I like the links. If you like the cogs, the links,
Chain
anything
Out
else
Gang,
that comes
cog,
up.
I think that's got a better ring to it. But.
Well, we do have our first question. Can I hit you with it?
Oh, Kristen already prefers links to cogs.
All right.
Yeah, I don't get to choose. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, you just give me enough time and I'll come up with a kind of saying that goes with the LINKS. That'll be really awesome. Or
Yeah,
or
there you
maybe
go.
just a bunch of random words put
It's
together.
all good.
But okay, so we got Keelan here with the first question, and he's asking.
It's not the first question, but we'll get to it.
Oh, he's got a question.
Yeah.
Not the first question.
There's been others, but we can get
Should,
back
should
to
I
those.
jump into the questions?
Go
or
for
no?
it. That's
Yeah?
what this was. What it's all about. It's an
Okay,
Ask Me
okay.
Anything. So let's go for it.
And I figured I should ask you because we are in your podcast space. So
Yeah.
I'm not at home. I'd have to just talk about it. But let's talk about, do we have any cool dyed discs?
We do. Well, I do.
You
Well,
do.
I have dyed discs. I don't know if they're cool.
Well,
You
do you
keep-
have
you
any
keep-
of them here?
You keep talking, Jeremy.
Okay. Because actually, guys, so for me, I only have 2 dyed discs at the moment. I seen a guy who does some like sticker cover discs in that look really cool. I think he's called 777. He's on Facebook, and he does some Scooby-Doo ones that I was really having my eyes on. But if I could get someone to dye a Scooby-Doo one for me, I think I would go with that. But what I really do like is that I have an Elks one that a good friend of mine and co-host of the show, Daryl, did. So I gave him a X Heat, this really soft rubbery one, and he dyed it. And I showed it on one of the early episodes. It might even been like episode 3 or 4 that we did.
It was on the thing behind you, right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
and I put it back there every once in a while when I'm setting up the disc, but it has the Elks on there, Edmonton Elks, so supporting them. And the weird thing is this plastic is so old and so rubbery that I flipped it over recently and the dye has dyed through the plastic, and I've got a reverse print on the back of it, which is pretty cool.
Anybody that dyes discs, can you let me know what went wrong with that? Is it just the fact that it was a certain type of plastic? Was I dyeing it with the wrong type of dye? Let me know why it dyed through on that particular disc, because in the beginning I decided that I was going to try my hand at disc dyeing,
Yes.
and I got a starter kit from Gander, a couple of dyes, and I can't remember which was my first disc. I think it may have been my Insanity, which is in the bag there, but that's okay, I don't need to do that. But one of my discs that I always get commented on is my Echo. I don't know if you can really see the colors.
Yeah,
but
I don't
it's-
know if that really does it as much justice.
No.
I think I don't know what you guys are seeing, but in ours we're seeing yellow and pink, but it's got more than that to it, eh?
Okay, Brock is saying that dye always bleeds over time, but
Oh,
I mean, this maybe it's a premium plastic. I don't know what the my number's on the back. That's okay. Someone can freeze that. But that's a luminous
Start
green,
texting
yellow,
Daryl
and pink.
madly.
It was meant to be a pattern, but now it's kind of blobby. But when it spins, it's kind of cool. And then more of a subtle color, more of a feather pattern. Sorry, that was an Echo, obviously,
Yep.
because it says Echo on it. This is a Castoplast Cax, which I kind of like, with the feather stroking,
yeah.
but the colors are not as vibrant on that one.
I do like that one. That one, it turned out really well.
Yeah. And then trying to do my hand at stenciling, but I kind of reversed it. So this was a Panic from MVP. Light blue on the outside, lime green on the middle. It's a 14.5 speed
Right.
or a 13 speed, so I'm never going to throw it, but it does actually work. It's like your time lapse.
Yeah.
For on a forehand, I can get it to really turn over. But so I dyed. Let me see if I can get this. The DJ Disc Golf, which is my first channel that I started to do on YouTube.
Well, hey, why don't we do that? Talk a little bit more about the dye and the disc, and then let's handle that question next, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
But I kind of did it the wrong way. I did this kind of purpley orange dye on it, but I should have done it the other way around. I should have had the DJ Disc Golf stay the lime green,
Right.
and then I should have had the orange color on the outside. So I kind of cut the inside out when I shouldn't have done, but
Well,
very basic. I've got a few more as well, but they're not worth showing.
another thing too, I just have to throw this out. Daryl is amazing with the discs. He's dyeing them. He's getting better each time. He's dyed a few for me, and I know it's going to get better. I have to address something now because you guys are going to think Jeremy's got crazy eyes, but sitting in this studio with Daryl, I'm not used to it and not sure whether I'm supposed to look over at him, look directly in the camera, look at myself on TV over here. So anyways, if you see me with crazy eyes, that's what it is. But I was going to go back to that. So go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to just something. Mark, I do know that I still have a couple of your discs. They will get dyed at some point. There you
Oh,
go.
yes. Yeah. Well, so you showed the DJ Disc Golf
Yes.
dyed disc.
Yes.
So I think some people who like the OGs, a lot of you are in here, Kevin, Kristen, Mark, and you know, if Dylan's in there too, you guys, and Brendan, you guys have been listening right since the beginning. And you guys might have heard this story, but I thought for some people who haven't, is we always talk about DJ Daryl Dubs and mixing the tunes and DJ Disc Golf. And I thought, I say all of those things. Daryl doesn't call those out. DJ Daryl, another one, that type of thing.
Oh no, I don't have it on here. Yeah.
You can't tell me. You have to say it in person. Anyways, Daryl, where's DJ Disc Golf? What is that? How did you get there?
DJ Disc Golf. So before we met, so I had my own YouTube channel, just uploading random videos that I edited on my own. But then getting into disc golf, I thought, oh, well, I'll make a disc golf channel. And I kind of themed it from beginner to wherever the journey ends, right? Just to kind of document myself getting better from total beginner to wherever it was going to end up. So I started my initials, my middle initial is Jason. So I'm DJ. So that's where the DJ comes from.
Okay.
And I do DJ, or I have DJ. So that's a connection as well. But it comes from Daryl Jason, DJ Disc Golf, DJ DG.
Oh.
And I started my own YouTube channel, and I started uploading videos, and then you met me, or I met you, and you came up with this crazy idea of starting a podcast. And yeah, that's where that came from.
Yes. So, but I don't know if I can dig a little deeper with that, because the one thing that I have yet to see is the DJ portion.
Okay.
So there was a point where you were actually, you said, doing a little DJing. Are you willing to share a little bit more about what you were doing with that and how that happened?
There's not much to tell, really. When I was in England, I'm originally from England. I've always wanted a DJ. I came over to Canada. I bought a set of vinyl decks in the mixer, and I bought a whole load of vinyl.
Okay.
I DJ'd for a while, not trying to get better, but not really.
But well, I think the cool thing about it to me, because I don't know about you guys out there, but Daryl would get on to YouTube, or was it on YouTube?
I was getting to the Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Yeah.
And you would go live, or you were getting to it. So you get to it.
Yeah. So then I purchased my CD, my decks, and set up 2 cameras, had lots of screen share and whatever else, and broadcasting, one camera showing the decks, one camera showing me. I had a microphone. I'd interact with people that would follow me on Instagram, and so I used to DJ on Instagram.
Well, and I think that's so cool, because that's like really putting yourself out there, because it's not only putting your personality, but you're putting your personality out there. You're putting your taste of music in there. So did you have a DJ voice when you were doing it?
I don't know. Sonia used to come in. Oh, she says that he's good on Friday nights for the best, because I used to go live on Friday nights. But
sweet.
I don't think I had a DJ voice.
You weren't like.
No, I wasn't like.
You didn't have the.
Okay, I never. It's not like a wedding DJ or anything like that. It's not like I was. Okay, this one's going up for Sonia. All the ladies in the dance floor, get on the dance floor now. It was not like that.
That's awesome. Well, what kind of tunes would you spin, as the hip kids say these days?
House music, trance music, techno, all the dance music. Yeah.
So do you have like records of that type of music?
I have vinyl in the basement. Yeah, I've probably got over 100 vinyl albums and records in the basement. But nowadays everything's digital, so it's all MP3s. It's all on hard drives now, Jeremy.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
Maybe one day, maybe we'll do a. Maybe I can introduce just call me Kevin Jones.
Yeah,
do a little bit of DJ, and we'll get the intro going, right?
Well, and on top of that, so that tells me, okay, now here's the big question. Sorry, I know that you guys are supposed to ask us questions, but I'm learning things about Daryl.
There's so many questions that we've got to get to, but that's a good thing.
Okay, well, we'll get back to those after this question, because I think this is the question that maybe is on somebody's mind out there. Does Daryl have more record discs, or does Daryl have more disc golf discs? Which one is in the lead at this point, like true vinyl or disc golf discs? Which do you have more of?
I think it's close, but no, I think I would have to count. Well, I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
You don't know?
The amount of it's funny when you give me the side eye. You're like, I don't want to turn my head, but I want to look at you. I don't know. I think it's pretty close.
pretty close
Yeah.
to the same.
Yeah.
So last question on that. What is if you could only have one of your records, if all your records disappeared and you couldn't have any hard drive
man.
stuff and you just had one record left, not necessarily to spin and scratch and DJ, but to listen to, which of your collection is, whether it's sentimental, whether it's the one that you like for the music on it? See how I'm
Wow.
giving you lots of time to think here?
Yeah, but that's like trying to pick between your kids, Jeremy.
Yeah. Well, this is
You know,
it. But at
music.
least
I think
it's a
music
record.
goes. I mean, people can let me know in the chat. Music and records go deeper than discs. Or maybe is that a hot take? Seeing as this is
or
a disc golf
records go
podcast,
Oof.
am I saying 4,500 discs, Brendan?
4,500. Well, he does have a store.
Well, yeah.
Is he counting everything
yeah.
that he's bought for the store? 'Cause
Yeah, there you go.
until he sells it, technically
Technically, they're his. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could throw. You've been asking me lots of questions. I guess I could turn this around and throw it back on you. Like,
Okay.
would you rather keep all your disc golf discs, or would you rather keep
All
an
my
album disc?
records?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any records anymore. There was, I think I can remember. Okay, here you go. Here's
Okay.
a little deep cut for Jeremy. I'm referring to myself in the third person again.
That's pretty bad.
So anyways, for me, I had two records growing up. I had Michael Jackson, Bad. That was one of
That's
them.
a good album.
And then I also had the Mini Pops.
Okay, you're losing me now, Jeremy.
Those were my two records. Video Killed the Radio Star, that
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of thing on
yeah.
there. So those were them. My sister had a Barbie record player. That's about my extent with records. So yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, would I keep my records or my discs? In that case, I don't think I would keep either of those records. I want my discs.
Yeah, and I guess it's the world we live in nowadays, right? With everything's available streaming on Spotify, you don't really own music anymore. You don't have it, and you can listen to songs in any order, like an album. See, this is like showing our age again now, Jeremy.
Yeah.
It's the fact that when we used to get an album, you put it on and you listen to it from start to finish, and there's a flow to the album, and it
Yes.
you knew which song was coming next. Nowadays, it's did I just say nowadays? I'm allowed to say nowadays. I'm over 40. I'm almost 50.
Oh my goodness.
That it's one song from one artist, it's another
Yeah.
song from another artist, and then the next time you go back, you hit shuffle, and it's all different again. So, songs are good. Albums were better.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, let
Okay,
me
jump in the questions.
enough of me. Let me scroll right back up to the top because we had quite a few questions coming in right from the beginning. Andrea Michaud,
who's actually listening to us all the way from Ontario,
yeah,
out in the
well,
Niagara
yeah,
Falls.
so
St.
2 hours
Catharines
ahead.
area.
So
Yeah.
it's almost 10 o'clock there.
Thanks for listening.
She wants to know, where does Jeremy get his hair done?
That's a great question. I have
Yeah.
this wonderful barber, and he's good looking. He's so nice, the kindest guy in the world. He makes time for me whenever I need it, and that would be me. If you hadn't guessed that already. So nope, this is all done at home by myself every 2 weeks, whether I need it or not. I take it off usually in time for the podcast. So sometimes if you see me wearing, I like to wear hats as well. Sometimes it's because I like to wear them. Sometimes it might be I didn't get a chance to shave my head yet. So, so Jeremy is his own barber at this point, third person again.
There you go.
We should almost, if you guys were having a beverage with us, you could drink every time I refer to myself in the third person.
In the third person, it must be a drink. Okay. Kristen said that she's tucking in for a bite to eat, so she's here for the long haul.
Awesome. Thank you.
Quite a few
Kristen.
votes for links, a few votes for COG. So, it's 50-50, but I've been told that we don't get to decide.
No.
So it'll be what it will be. From Brock, previous guest on the show, he wants to know, do we have any new discs that we'll be throwing at Rundle?
Well, you and we put ourselves on a bit of a hiatus on discs there because we had talked about it enough times on the show that we felt that we should be learning the discs we have. Like, I think at my last count, I'm probably around 50 discs.
Yeah.
So I have a number of discs that I haven't thrown. So like I've got a Prodigy D2, which I think is comparable number wise and stuff to like, what would it be compared to?
I
like a
don't.
destroyer
Yeah.
or to, why can't I think of Simon's right now? A time lapse. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's similar to that. So I haven't pulled that out. So maybe I'll get some of those back out again.
Yeah.
But I think probably the newest disc, and we did talk about it with Matt because he's a resistor thrower. That's one of my newest discs. I've been throwing it, but I haven't really gotten the backhand figured out.
Yeah.
So that's about my newest disc. What about you?
Yeah. So a couple of my new discs that I've been throwing recently, and the only reason they're new is because I got them at the Tundra Toss disc swap. So one of them is a white Sergeant.
Okay.
And obviously with it being snow and winter recently, I didn't want to
that.
get it out and throw it. So I've only now started to throw it, especially with the wind. You know, I think Mark will correct me on this because we talked about it last time we went out. I think it's a 10-4 2.5 or minus 0.5 2.5, something like that. So in the wind, if it's windy, you know, I can see those low glide overstable discs. But the other one that I'm really liking, and thanks to Scott Brimacombe, because it's got his name on it, I'm throwing a Wraith, and I'm getting more and more used to throwing it now. I think Scott or Mark had said to me that Scott had said that he put it in there, but it was super flippy for him.
Right.
And I'm learning to throw it on hyzer, and I can get it to flip up, and it still fades to the right.
Yeah.
But I can get quite a bit of distance out of it. So they're new discs to me. They're not necessarily new discs.
Right.
But I guess the newest one that I've bought would be my Animus from Thought Space. That's 11502. So yeah.
And yeah, I think you've mentioned a few times that there's a couple, maybe 3-4 discs sitting in possibly a BR disc golf cart waiting for you for the next bourbon and bluegrass night.
There are so people that don't know me, I like listening to bluegrass banjo music.
Who doesn't?
And I like drinking bourbon. So a few of my more extravagant purchases have been on bourbon and bluegrass night, but 3 Bergs actually, Brendan. I added 2 more. I've got a glow Berg, I've got a white Berg, and another soft Berg sitting in there because I want to.
Well, we've got Alberga coming up.
Well,
I don't know if it's called Alberga. Is that what they call it?
I think that's what it's called.
Well, anyways, the Alberta Berg Championships, that's coming up soon. And if you're not in it, there was still lots of space out at Wildman, and both you and I are in it. Mark Thompson's in it. Of course, Travis Bouchard, Tim Plamondon, lots of people that we know are
Matt.
are all participating in it. And from what I understand, anybody who's been out to Wildman, I know that Matt's got some special things. Matt and Tim have some things planned for us, but I think they're going to go easy, and maybe the par 5 is going to be from the Reds. So don't get too worried if you're worried about having to throw 1,000 feet with a Berg or something like that for a hole.
Well, you mentioned him there, so we may as well get to one of his questions because he's got a few in here. A question from a listener of the show, friend of the show, Mark Thompson. Question for both of us. If there was a buy one, get 10 free, what disc and plastic has you sold for life?
Oh, I almost think you could guess for me. Well, no, maybe it's kind of in between.
I would say it would have to be a Lozado Hex.
Yeah, it would be. You're right. 100. Like that's my first go-to.
Probably a glow Lozado Hex.
It would have to be glow.
Yeah,
I like the glow plastic. Although the Neutron, I've got a Neutron Hex too. I really like that as well. But definitely, if you could give me glow hexes with different types of Lozadals on them, the Halloween ones, the standard one. I don't know. Make a Michael Jackson one for me. Make a Taylor Swift one for me. You name it. That's what I'd have. What about you?
Well, it's a toss-up between 3 actually, because I mean, I think I would like to say the Berg,
3.
but it wouldn't be because I don't think I could throw a Berg every day, all day on every hole and every shot. I like it. I like it where it has its potential. Like it's got it's got a gap to fit, but I don't think I wouldn't like to throw it all the time every day. As much as I am a champion. I'm leading for president of the Berg Cult Club.
Yeah, you're trying to challenge Travis.
But I do like a T-Bird.
Oh.
And I've been trying to throw that a bit more, and I like the way that it glides. But I've got an Evader as well, which is kind of similar. But the disc that I have multiple plastics of at the moment, because that's what we're trying to do, or at least I'm trying to do, is get one mold, is my Vandal.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah. So I've actually got 2 Vandals, one Lucid and one Fusion.
Yep.
So
And you throw it really well. You can flex that one, and
Thank
it looks good when you throw it.
yeah,
So maybe actually come out tomorrow and watch Daryl throw a Vandal at Rundle League.
it depends if it's windy.
Okay.
Let's scrolling down here.
It looked like we almost had a Desert Island Discs question in there. I saw.
Well, it did just jump back
There
down.
you are, just under the fire there.
Hang on one second.
Oh, did we miss one?
I think we did. Where did you get your haircut done? You prefer the cogs? Question. Do you have any new discs? Question.
Oh,
over
while
there.
you're looking at the questions,
Mm.
I got to show something off.
It's getting quite warm in here, isn't it, Jerry?
It's getting a little warm in here. Maybe if I take this vest off.
He's not going to take off all his clothes.
No.
Oh, that's a sweet looking jersey,
Look at
Jeremy.
that, baby. I'm wearing my Heiser Bomb Home.
No, you can't say it. You got to sing it.
No, nobody wants. That was one thing. I didn't get a whole bunch of people go, wow, that was the best rendition of Tom Jones I've heard since he sang it himself.
Okay, I'm almost going to say put it in the chat if you want to hear Jeremy sing again. Maybe he'll sing at the end. But that's a pretty sweet looking jersey, Jeremy.
Yeah, so Heisebaum Hong, I'm not, if you guys have watched me, well, you've watched me, I know because you've watched the podcast.
Yeah.
I wear a lot of black, a lot of gray, a lot of dark blue. Those are my colors. So this was me really stepping outside of my comfort zone to get a little cotton candy pink and blue, but got all my Heiser bombs. I really like this kind of V-cut collar that's got a little bit of a difference there. And then on one arm, I've got Terry's hand logo. This is brand new for this year with the rose in it and the clouds,
Yeah,
with the cotton candy around it. And then Beast on the other one, because this is the Beast disc golf jersey.
Well, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, and happy to have one. This is my first jersey, and it's one of our local FPO players' jerseys. So excited that there's funds going from it to support her. And
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
it looks good.
well, thank you.
Keelan has a question. Oh, Mark Champson, she's up first. Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon, Mark. Keelan has a question. Thanks, Keelan. If both of you could only bag one putter, one mid-range, one fairway, and one distance driver,
Oh, and
what would they be and why?
Well, we could start. That sounds a little bit like our Desert Island Discs question.
Well, Keelan, if you've ever listened, if you want to go back and listen to any of our other shows where we interview lots of great guests, you will have heard this segment.
Now it's time for Desert Island Discs. Picture this. You've taken a relaxing cruise, however the ship goes down. You manage to swim to an island, and fortunately for you, there's an 18-hole disc golf course. Which 3 discs are you taking with you on the island?
Plus one.
Plus one, yeah. So typically in the past, Jeremy, I've said that, limited to one putter, one mid-range, one driver. But as we all know, Tim Plamondon blew that out of the water with
Yes,
his
he
Firebird,
did.
Firebird, Firefly.
He did that.
What 3 discs or what 4 discs would you take? And we're going to add a distance driver in. So, I mean, we already kind of have our.
We have them set, but we can still talk about
Yeah.
them and change them up a bit. So normally for me, my putter's an EV7 Phi PHI, but just lately I've still stuck with the EV7 brand, and I've been playing with some Teloses, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
Isn't that? Yeah. Telos. So that's kind of my putter. That one would be there. It's got the right weight for me. It kind of floats in. A lot of people also putt with Recos. I've done that as well, and they feel very similar. They got a nice glide to them. That's my putter. We've already talked about the Lizotl Hex, the glow one. That is my mid-range. I like to throw it. I like to put on a hyzer. It stays on hyzer. If I throw it flat, it does what I want it to do. I like to forehand it. It goes pretty straight. So definitely my Lizotl Hex. My musket is my next one. I've just actually at Tundra Toss when we got to pick our 2 discs from to go with our players pack.
So that's 3.
Yeah, I picked that.
Another one.
Another one. DJ Daryl.
Go ahead.
And for my last one, I'm going to think, and I got to be quick on my feet because I don't want this to be like a 10-hour Jeremy thinking
That's
about
fine.
what his next disc would be. But the other disc would be my Astronaut. And I told Tim when he was on the show last for Tundra Toss, and he asked us, what disc do we have to banish? I told him I should banish the Astronaut, but I got that from the Wild Man. I traded him an Eagle for that Astronaut. And when I throw it perfectly, it's so beautiful. And when I don't throw it perfectly, it's so horrible.
It sounds like you have a love-hate relationship with that disc.
Yes, I do.
You're banning it
Sometimes I
1
want to send
second,
it to space.
And now you're taking it on an island with you.
Yes. All right, that's mine. Your turn.
Well, people that know me, know that I love a Berg. It's all about a Berg.
Hmm.
So definitely a Berg with the putter. I believe I went with a Cax because you made me change it
Yeah, well, actually, I think there was a bit of a change. Then you had
because it was my Echo. It was that Echo right there, the dyed one. But then it was going too understable for me.
but you get to this is like a reset. So
Oh, it's a
which would you
reset.
want? Yeah.
So no, I think I'd definitely go with the Cax because it's a straight flying disc and I can get some good distance on it. So Berg, Cax.
Mhm.
See, I want to go T-Bird, but
Another one.
I just wanted to push a button for once.
you know, a Cax and a T-Bird are kind of similar. I guess I would have to go up to the Vandal,
Okay, yeah, of course. If you didn't say Vandal, that wouldn't make sense.
but I
to
do
me.
like my Haley King Firebird as well because that's reliable.
Hmm.
But no, I'll go with the Vandal, and then for my distance driver, I guess I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with that Wraith. I'm getting good distance on it. I'm kind of learning the flip up on it, and it's, you know, it's not like some other discs that I have where if I put it on hyzer, you know, I feel like I'm putting it on hyzer, it'll flip up and it'll go to the right, or I'll put it on hyzer and it'll just turn right over and go into the ground 50 feet in front of me. Like the Wraith, I can actually throw it and it feels like it comes out on hyzer and I can see that it flips up to flat. So yeah, that would be my three.
Well, there you go.
Great question. Thanks,
I was
Keelan.
going to say that. Yeah, great question. The other thing
Go
I
back.
wanted to ask you as you're continuing to look on that
Mhm.
is how does it feel? You know, we're used to asking the questions and putting the guest on the spot. And I know some of the people in the chat have been those guests, whether it's Brendan, Kristen, Mark, they've been there on that side of it. How does it feel like for you?
You said to me, okay, I'm going to take over this while you look at the chat. So I've just been reading the chat. And
Well, sorry,
I didn't realize you were asking me a
no,
question.
I was setting up a question for you.
Sorry,
So
what did you say?
essentially what the question was is how does it feel to you tonight
Mhm.
being on the other side of the mic and actually having the questions asked to us as opposed to us asking the questions?
Well, a little inside baseball.
Hmm.
When we get a guest on the show, sometimes it can be 2 weeks, sometimes it can be a week. You know, sometimes it's a bit of work
Yeah.
to try and get the guest and get it organized and figure out a time. So when we do get the guest, it's a guest that we've already picked out or that we know you guys might like to listen to or something along those lines. So we already have an interest in that guest. So you come up with a script, almost not a script, but a series of questions
outline
and
is what
topics,
I
an
like to
outline
call it. Yeah.
that we send to the guest, and we send it to them ahead of time. Brendan and Mark probably will know. I don't know if, and Kristen, obviously.
Yeah.
Kristen, we've had Kristen on the podcast before. It's a nice thing because it gives them a bit of okay, it's not just totally blind.
Yes.
You know, you can kind of prepare your answers. We always go off topic and we ask random questions, and sometimes we like to throw oddball questions in there, but they have some sort of preparation so that they know where it's going. And it's typically it's topics that they want to talk about
Yes.
and that we want to learn more about. So it makes it comfortable for them.
And we think the listeners want to hear as
Yeah.
well, is what we're trying to do too.
This is questions that we have no prior knowledge of, and we're getting thrown at and on the spot, and we have to, come up with the answers. So it's a little bit of pressure. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a little different.
How
for
do you
sure.
feel? How do you think what it feels like?
I like it. I realize though that you do have to be quick on your feet. So thank you to all our guests, because when we do give them a little bit of information, we're essentially just giving them the skeleton to say, these are the directions we want to go. We want to know about your origin story. We don't tell them what it's going to be. We don't, I prepare that, and
Yeah.
Daryl works with me on that, and we present it or sing it or whatever we do. Desert Island Discs, even to the point where we say Desert Island Discs, a staple of our show, and we're hoping that they've listened to our show and maybe heard it. But we did and I'm not throwing him under the bus. We love him, but with Brian Freese, we kind of got him pretty quick, right? We didn't give him a lot of time before we got him on the show. So we said Desert Island Discs, a staple of our show. That was just a topic we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
And then he thought, what discs are going to help me survive on a desert island? And that happened to be one of the funniest and fun Desert Island discs.
Yeah, he totally didn't listen to the episode, like the segment, but his answer was perfect. It was a refreshing change from the things that we normally talk about.
Yeah,
and to have him, put the amount of thought into which disc he would take on the island, and his reasons for it totally not disc golf related, but it was a good answer anyway. So
Well,
yeah.
that's part of the reason we do it, is that we want to have a direction for the conversation, but we don't want it to sound scripted. When we did some podcast episodes that you guys have not seen that are still hidden behind the wall, I guess, or in the vault, we were a bit more scripted. You know, I'm sitting there staring the whole time, reading off a screen, and
I don't know if we've ever talked about that, but maybe that's something that we can talk about. Like how long did it take? I mean, people that, you know, other than the secret few that we let see the first 1 or 2 episodes,
right? Yeah.
The first episode that we released out to the wild, into the public on Spotify and on YouTube,
Yes, was not our first episode.
It was not our first episode. How long prior to that had we been recording episodes and trying to make it good?
Well, I know, you know, you were wondering if this podcast. So Daryl and I, we got this podcast started, and then we started working on episodes, and we did about 5 of them. And I kept saying to Daryl, I think we need to have like 3, 4, 5 in the bag, in the vault, and release them all at the same time. So if somebody finds our podcast, they can binge it and listen to it. Because if they listen to one and they don't hear from us again for a week, maybe they won't care.
Yeah.
So we did these 5, but there was a point, because that was 5 weeks at least. So maybe even a month and a half, almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Daryl was like, what's this guy doing? Are we actually going to put this podcast out? Or are we just playing podcast games for fun? So
yeah, no, and I think you agree. Once we, you know, we thought we had to have segments.
yeah,
We had
at the beginning,
we had a segment,
get to know your Canadian pro.
which has kind of evolved into the majority of the episode.
But it wasn't. But it
But it was
We
no,
don't denounce it like that.
no.
No.
But when we did it originally, it was like a 3-minute get to know your Canadian pro, and we gave you stats and statistics, and that was it.
Thomas Gilbert, he has played for this long.
Yes, he is
his
now sponsored
rating
by
is
ThoughtSpace.
this.
Yeah.
That is the
But-
end of the segment.
And there was various segments like that it felt very scripted and blocky, and we did 3 or 4, and I think we both got to the end of it, and we were like, can we maintain this? Can we keep this going? It doesn't
Yeah.
feel right. And I'll pat ourselves on the back to say,
Okay, I'll pat
Thank
you
you.
too.
to say that we, had enough self-awareness to say, no, this is not what we want to put out. This is not where we thought it was going to go.
No.
We need to scrap it, go back to the drawing board and reevaluate. And then now look at us, Jeremy.
Well, and that was
Who would have thought it? Hey,
really,
look at
yeah.
us, eh?
And the
you
evolution
don't watch
of
Hot
it.
Ones, do you?
Oh, I've seen it. That's the Hot Wings contest where
Yeah.
they touch their
Paul
eyes
Rudd.
and then they
Look at
start
us.
crying.
Who
Oh.
would have thought it?
Who would have thought it?
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Should we get on to another question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I'm just going to scroll down.
Just make sure we're not missing
Okay.
anything crazy.
No, we are down the bottom.
Okay.
Andrea asks, have you ever thought about commentating for an event? And what would be your dream event if you could get the chance?
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that question. Well, should we start with the fact that maybe we haven't shared on the podcast? Maybe we have. I probably have. I don't know.
I don't think you have.
Well, before we did the podcast, Daryl was doing his DJ Instagram that I was somehow missing out on, which I hope I can maybe get a. Is there an old recording? Can I get that?
I can. They're around.
They're out there. Okay.
They're
So,
around,
anyways, while he was doing that, my son was playing club volleyball, and COVID hit. And when COVID hit, parents weren't allowed to go watch the games, or there was a very limited amount. You had to be part of the team. And I wanted to watch the games. So I said, could I maybe live stream the games? And that's how I got to actually go and watch my son play volleyball at COVID. And as I was sitting there watching the game, I was just kind of watching it. And then I said to Jen, my wife, I said, do you think it would be okay if maybe I told people what was happening a little bit about the game? Do you think that would be okay? And she's like, oh, give it a try and see what people say. And I was like, okay, that's a point for SAS volleyball. And then it'd be quiet for a while. Like, oh, that was pretty cool. That was a good play. And then it evolved into, all right, SAS is throwing up the ball. The serve is over the net. And, ooh, it's a good one. It's bumped up by the other team. Before you know it, I was commentating those volleyball games, and I was adding stuff. Like, we played a team called like Drayton Valley Thunder, and we beat them.
Yeah.
And then once we beat them, I was thrown out there. I'm like, na, 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 na. You've been Thunderstruck.
See, you want to sing, Jeremy. You
I
want
can't
to
sing to save my life, but I would throw things out there like that. So back to your question, Andrea. I have done some commentating. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And Daryl and I kind of talk about that sometimes, is that maybe with my rambling, I'm a good play-by-play guy and he's a good color guy.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
That's kind of how we work well together. But back to the dream event. And maybe you should start with that. Play-by.
Oh, wow. Dream event.
Well, would you want to commentate an event? And would it be with me, or would
I
you
don't-
find some other person?
Yeah, no, that was a great point there, Jeremy. You see, what he did was, as he reached for his beer, he put it up to his lips, and yeah, he went in for the swig. He took more than a mouthful there, so yeah, that was a great delivery. Yeah, I think I could do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
Would I want to do it? I don't know. I don't know if I could. Probably, I think I could. I think I stumble over my words sometimes, so I don't know what that would be like on a live broadcast. I don't know. See, now we're getting back into the realm of, oh, darling, get me a tournament to.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
but let's go. Let's answer the question. These kind listeners and awesome listeners. What was the other
Yeah.
word I was looking for?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's the stumbling over our words.
Do
Have
I
given us
want? Would I
questions.
want to? I don't know if I would want to, but if I was asked, I would
Mhm.
probably give it a try. If somebody thought I could actually do it, then I would give it a try. But is it a dream of mine? No,
Okay. And what would be the dream event, though? There has to be one of those.
I don't know if there's a dream event. Would you want to do it? Well, I think of an event that I would like to commentate
well,
on.
I'd do it. You know what I'm going to say, though? This is maybe a cop out, but I'm going to throw it out there.
What?
I'm going to say, I think we should do the European Open because half of the people listening wouldn't know what we were saying
Yeah.
anyways. So we get thumbs up just for maybe our personalities and our smiles and that kind of thing.
I don't know. I mean, Worlds,
Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Worlds is good. And, maybe 2025 Masters Worlds
Masters Worlds.
in
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
So
Brent-
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Brendan wants to be a sponsor, a bourbon sponsor of the Chain Out podcast, and
Oh.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, we could do an episode of that. for
When I
sure.
order my 3 discs, yeah, and Sonia asked if can we have free samples first.
All right.
When I put my 3 Berg order in, Brendan, if you just put a
sample.
little sample or a little something extra on the inside. Played a burger only round with Briggsy and Wildman today. The Von Stem said that kind of did okay with the Berg now. That's good. Don't be afraid of the Berg.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristen Swirls, a serious tough one.
Ooh.
Okay, we might get prepared for this one.
Okay.
So
Ready?
far, is there anything you do not like about podcasting or the Chain Out experience? And don't say me.
I thought you might say
Say
me.
you.
Well, I think. Do you want to take it first? Because if you got,
I know what I'm going to say. I've got
Okay.
an answer lined up.
Yeah, you
Or
do
not
it.
lined up, but I know what I'm going to say.
Go for it.
Podcasting is not as easy as people think. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
It does take a lot of, you can do it cheap. There are other people out there that, I'm not going to mention any names or
No.
throw anybody under the bus, but there are people that do the podcasting with the free versions of software that we use. And, you can do a podcast on your phone. You can just go live on Instagram and record it. And is that a podcast? It could be. But, if you go back and watch our first episodes, and even probably if you go and watch, if we ever do release the Vault
Vault.
episodes, which could be a Patreon thing,
If we ever get
putting
there.
that out there. Our mics are different. Jeremy's using
My
Apple
phone.
earphone. You used your phone and your
Mhm.
earbuds at one time.
Yeah.
You got the scratchy because your microphone was scratching on the
On my
jacket
vest.
on
Yeah.
your vest. Lighting wasn't great, so we've invested in lighting. We've invested in cameras. I've upgraded my microphones 2 or 3 times. The fact that we can sit here with 2 microphones, 2 headphones. I can play music on my phone. I can, there's so much we can do that all costs money, right? But I think it's worth it because this is where I want to be on a podcast. I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
do it if it was anything less.
Well, and I agree with you. Sorry, do you have more?
No, and I was just coming back to you know, so from my side, the editing,
Mm,
when in the beginning, when I used to do
For
the
sure.
editing of the videos where you would see the flicking back and forth between the guest and me and Jeremy, and then the wide up and the 2 up and the 3 up and graphics and everything else, creating the Chain Out logo, Jeremy created it, but putting it, on the beginning of the episodes, adding the music, the fancy graphics, all of that takes time, takes energy,
yes.
and takes energy and time away from other things, right? Family, friends, and other responsibilities at some time. So that side of it is not the fun side, although I enjoy editing videos and I enjoy creating the graphics because it's a hobby. It's like, it's a hobby that you enjoy, you're never working.
Yes.
So, it's a double-edged sword. I think that's like the third time I've said that tonight. So yeah, it's a love-hate relationship, but more love than hate.
Yeah. Well, and I think you nailed it on the head there, is that anyone can put together a podcast, and anybody who is, we appreciate and we support, and we think that's fantastic. Anytime we're bringing out more content, especially Canadian disc golf, that's great. And whatever level that you want to be involved. But from the start, we said we wanted to continuously improve and change things and move forward. And with that, there we go. Speaking of lights, here they come.
Speaking of life.
Oh, and look at that. It's almost cotton candy like too. It goes really well with the jersey.
Sorry.
But I would say the thing for me has been, I didn't realize how much time it would take, but I'm a guy who, I have a day job like everyone else, and I do it. It pays the bills. That's the kind of thing. And I have good days. I have bad days, but it doesn't give me that like real crazy sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
But then when I know we're going to podcast, like I'm excited, I'm amped, I'm ready to go. I've got the energy. And just so you guys know, to give you an idea, say we are doing a podcast like this, like a regular episode, and it's going to start at 7:30. We're probably on in the podcast space about 5:45 or so.
Yeah.
And then one of us has to hang up on the other, hopefully before midnight after the podcast is over.
Good night, Mark.
We just enjoy it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where there is a lot of work, whether it's doing those little shorts we put together,
Mm-hmm.
it's doing the summaries, it's doing the outlines, it's doing the editing, but we love it. So I would say we kind of rambled a bit, but back to Kristen's question, is there anything we don't like about it? I don't think that the only thing I would say that I don't like is I just don't like when our program doesn't work. That's the only time that I'm unhappy. We love our program when it works, but when it doesn't work, that's probably the thing that frustrates me the most. But that's why I love the fact that we have the complementing skill sets, because your tech skills are bar none and you get it figured out. And I would just be throwing my laptop across the room.
Andrea will attest to my skills with that on the, when we tried to do a test session with her. But
Yeah.
excuse me, touch wood. You mentioned about the program that we use.
Mm-hmm.
It was good for a few episodes, and then we had a few bad episodes. But touching wood, it hasn't steered us wrong recently.
No.
So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Kristen. Quite a few people saying you look delicious and you look sick and everything looks good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope that the weather is nice enough tomorrow that I can sport this at the first night of Rundle. So if you see, it's not Terry. Actually, the difference would be Terry's usually wearing shorts. I don't think I'll be wearing shorts.
Oh, you're not going to get, you don't think you could get away with those
shorts?
Short shorts that Terry wears?
Terry can do it. I can't do it.
If you're going to Rundle League tomorrow and you want to see Jeremy wearing the Heiserbaum Hong jersey, leave a thumbs up in the chat right now. Let's see if we can get a load of thumbs up
so that I'm wearing it no matter what.
That you're wearing it. If we get, so there's 8 people currently watching. I reckon if we get at least 50%, 50%,
sure,
50%. So we get four thumbs up. Jeremy will wear the Heiserbaum Hong jersey tomorrow.
4 different people's thumbs up.
4 different people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh,
Yes, and Daryl. Yes, as
wow.
Mark was saying there, he definitely was a test run for sure.
Yeah. Jeremy, apparently, Mark didn't get a script.
No.
People cannot believe that I picked the Cax over the Echo.
Gotcha.
Oh, Sonia and Brock.
What do we? Oh, we got 2 already.
We have 2.
All right, we're halfway there.
You got to have some running shorts left. Yeah. For people that don't know, he used to be a marathon runner.
I do actually.
Excuse me?
I have to look, Brock. I bet you I do have a pair of those shorts where the sides are pretty much split so that in my speed I wouldn't be.
I'm imagining, in my mind, I'm imagining the type of shorts that Terry Fox was wearing.
Yes.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
imagining the right ones.
Not that I'm trying to sway the witness, but at the moment we've only got 2 thumbs up. So I'm sure there's 2 more people in the chat that can give you a thumb up, Jeremy.
Phew, I'm good.
There you
good.
go.
It's
Well,
all right.
well, let's say it's 8:28 right now. So by 8:30, we've got to have a cutoff time, right? We
Okay.
can't just let it go all night. So by 8:30, Mike had a question or made a message, but it was redacted.
Okay, that's fine.
Mark had a question, but Mark's left. Mark had to put his daughter to sleep.
It's great that he joined us, though. He's done that
Absolutely.
a few times now.
Yeah, we appreciate
that.
Mark for
I appreciate
being-
everyone who's joined us.
Will the podcast do a Tour Life live episode while driving to a further tour destination, or will it be hard to keep you both awake on a long drive?
That's
Okay,
Mark's question.
We're up to 3.
Oh, we're at 3.
We're
Oh,
up to
no.
3. Kristen dropped to
I
3rd.
mean, oh, yes, I guess. Oh, there's
Oh,
the 4th.
Brendan
Oh.
McKinstry with the 4, and it's only it's not even
man.
8:29. So
We might. Okay, you're definitely going to see the Heiserbaum Hong jersey tomorrow.
stay.
Oh,
See, they're all
5
coming
hearts
in now.
or 5
That's the
plus.
20 seconds later, right?
Oh man, thumbs up, Ella. Oh, I might have to
Okay,
see if I can
well-
dig out the shorts too, at least for a picture. For a picture.
For a picture for the gram.
Oh, that's gonna be you guys. You be careful what you wish for, okay, Brock?
That's awesome. Oh, I love our listeners. Yeah. So I mean, we could. We've got this set up. I've got a laptop.
Yeah.
You've got a laptop. We can bring all this. We are planning.
Do we want to? Yeah, let's lead it. Let's put it out there.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So you do it.
No, you do it because you bought. I don't know where you're going with it.
Oh, about spring runoff. What
Oh,
our
yeah.
thoughts are. So
About-
am I still doing it?
Yeah, you do it.
Okay. So to answer Mark's question, would we ever think of doing like a Tour Life live episode while driving to a tournament? So he's leading a bit because what we want to do is we have asked Mark to be part of our, what was the kind of the word for it? Our traveling correspondent or our roaming correspondent, that kind of thing.
I forget what we actually.
Some
Yeah.
sort of name like that. But what we're going to do is we're heading down to spring runoff, and that's all the way down in Lethbridge, and that's going to be a long drive. So our hope is that we're going to be able to use some of that time, whether we stop at a course or whether we, once we get to Lethbridge and we play some courses, maybe it's even if we're in the vehicle as well,
Mhm.
then we might just put up some live Instagram stuff. And what we really, really hope we could do is maybe get a chance to talk to some people at spring runoff and throw something together with that. So
Yeah.
we have lots of ideas. That's the one thing. Maybe talk about that. Can you talk about our ideas?
I don't
Just
know.
the fact that we have about.
Oh, we have lots of big ideas.
Yes. So
Yeah, I mean, like even like we said in the beginning about, you know, we've done 2 episodes and we're already talking about when we get monetized in Patreon and all this sort of stuff. We're always thinking ahead.
yeah.
We're always thinking about how we can better the podcast, and you know, any advantage or any opportunity that arises, we're thinking, oh, what can we do? I mean, you know,
I don't know if we have to give all the ideas,
No.
but
but I mean, one idea that we had and that came to fruition, and if anybody signed it, you know, I think majority of people in the chat right now are Edgar members. But one of the first ideas that we had, which sounded ridiculous, that we thought, you know what if we came out with our own stickers
right.
and we put all our social media on the sticker, and then we can hand them out? But where are we going to hand them out? Why don't we put them in the players packs, or
At
ask
Tundra
Tim to
Toss.
put them in the players packs at Tundra Toss? And we can be a kind of a partner of the event or whatever it might be. And that was a kind of a, this is ridiculous.
We're
No one's
reaching
going to
beyond
want a
our
sticker.
means.
Yeah. And that's another thing. We paid for stickers just to get our, you know, just to promote us, right?
Yeah.
But that's the sort of thing that we have. We have these ideas of like, how can we get Chain out there? How can we grow this community? How can we grow the community of disc golf? How can we be a part of it, and what that looks like? And obviously, you know, throwing it back onto you,
Mm-hmm.
you've epitomized that at the moment by being sponsored by Limber, and you're a
yeah.
Limber Pinecone because you're so out there in the community and you're promoting everything. So, yeah.
Well, I really really, really think about it with that, Daryl, was how much this stuff has happened. Like all the support, whether it's the support Brendan has given us by giving us some things to give away,
Absolutely.
the support by everybody listening, subscribing, telling their friends, giving us all these kind comments. And then out of the blue there, to me, like wasn't expecting, having Limber ask me to be a pine cone. And like, that's amazing. So all of this has been in part, or definitely a lot of the part, from the listeners helping us out. So yeah, we've got so many, but to go back to it, we got so many ideas. We've got a board that we write them all down on, and now it's a matter of trying to narrow it down and pick them. But definitely back to that question, a tour life / spring off live type 1 is what we're kind of thinking. What it's going to look like, we don't know, but we didn't know what the Tundra Toss one was going to look like before we did it. And it ended up turning out great in my mind, what we put together. Yeah.
All I'll say, and this is, you know, I'm putting things out there. The podcast setup that we have can take 4 microphone inputs, Jeremy.
Really?
So if we got together in some sort of group fashion.
Is it mobile too?
Oh yeah, it's mobile. Well, yeah, it's mobile. So we could have this set up somewhere, and we could have 4 people talking all at the same time on the podcast. I'm just saying.
All right.
We could put it out there.
Things could happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how long have we been at this now?
I don't know. People
still
are you
listening
good?
there?
Do you
Yeah.
wanna- I can't scroll for some
I think
reason.
what I wanted to do is maybe throw out a couple more questions. If anybody's got any, put them in. Also, too, one question I would like to put out to you guys: is there people that you would like to see us interview? And the reason we ask that is we can't interview everybody because we do have a fairly big list, or we can interview everybody. It's just going to take a lot of time to do it. But we have a big list of people that we would like to, but we want to make sure that we're interviewing people that you want to hear from or hear about. So if there is somebody that you want to suggest, put it in there. We've talked about the fact that we do want to get to Chantal Badinsky or Thomas Gilbert at some point. And we think this year there is that possibility because we are positive thinkers and we put that out there. But we're really happy with everybody we've interviewed so far and want to continue to kind of, as you say, climb the mountain and build it up, right? Like build
absolutely.
up to there.
Yeah, because it's one thing for us to interview people that we want to listen to, but you know, if anybody has somebody that they want to listen to, maybe it's somebody that we already have on our radar, but we can bring them a bit ahead of schedule, or you know, maybe it's somebody that we haven't even thought of, and you know, would just be a great guest anyway.
Yeah. Can I throw a question out to the listeners, and then we'll ask ourselves a question maybe if don't have one? Can I throw?
We do have one, but you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Another question to the listeners I wanted to throw out there was, with these origin stories that we put together, which one has been your favorite? Do you have a favorite? So that's just a question to throw out there. Do you like the origin stories? Because
we do always say that. I mean, they're staples in the podcast.
Yeah.
So what are we going to say? I mean, obviously you can pick any segment you like, but what are our quote unquote segments? I mean, we have the origin story.
Yeah, we always have an intro. We always have an origin story. We always have Desert Island Discs. We like to interview somebody, if you want to call the interview segment.
I mean, that's what I think. The origin story, the intro, and Desert Island Discs. Those are the things,
Yeah.
3 things, and the guest obviously.
There is one other thing that always comes up. And it's always at the very, very end of the episode.
Yeah.
And we always try to throw out the
I guess that is the end, the outro. Do people actually like the outro?
I think so. I hope so.
Can people tell when the outro is coming? How many people actually listen right to the very end? Because we always, we have been throwing in the secret words. For people that don't know about the secret word, you need to listen to the end of the podcast. Don't just wait until the interview's over and then think, okay, it's just them talking again now.
Yeah.
Keep listening to the end of the podcast, because one of these days, the secret word is going to come with maybe a prize with it or something.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're getting some suggestions for guests.
Yeah.
We got Aubrey Price, Andrea
Lisk.
Lisk, Gabe Piska, other board members from other clubs. Yeah, Brock, that is definitely, we have people on our list. Should I release them or not? Maybe like a couple of people that we will put out there that we're thinking of talking to is likely Kyle Warren from up in Port McMurray. He's someone that I have on the list. John Umlaw from down in central Alberta. Also, too, once we kind of get more used to my limber status and that, we're starting to learn about some more Calgary people, and maybe someone like Alex Penny or Taylor Jeffels, owner of Limber. Maybe we can get them on. So we got a number of people like that, but we appreciate all of these suggestions.
Yeah.
With
just scrolling back up because there's a few questions that we missed. So, I mean, we did have a kind of a list of questions that we had for each other, but that was only because we didn't think that we'd be getting any questions. You know, it's funny. We put out all these Instagram posts and we tried to remind everybody that there was a Ask Me Anything coming, and make sure you put a question in the, and we had one question from, I do need to get back to that. Brendan did ask me a question, so we'll get back to that one. But first, a fun question from Kristen.
Okay.
Do either of us have any pets?
Well, you might as well start.
I can start. And I'm just going to move. So, where is he? I've got a dog. He's called George.
A dog?
I got a dog. Do you like dogs?
I like dogs.
I like dogs. He's a good
caravans
boy.
better.
He's the bestest boy. He's sleeping right now, but he is there. He is an SP, or he's not an SPCA, but he is a
Oh, you never told me that.
he's a second chance SCAR, second chance animal rescue. All my animals I get from SPA or excuse me,
SPCA or
SPCA or
Scars.
rescue animals. Yeah, I've had 4 dogs since I've been in Canada. All 4 of them have come from rescue. 3 of them, unfortunately, are no more. But George is the latest one, and yeah.
Now, there's another background with dogs that you have too, or no? Or am I thinking of something else?
No. So in a previous lifetime,
Mhm.
before I came to Canada, I used to be in the British Army.
Right.
And while I was in the British Army, I used to be a dog handler.
Yeah.
So I love dogs. I had dogs growing up. Wanted to work with dogs in the army. And I did a few courses. You know, the technical term for the person is a baiter.
Okay.
The person that wears the big suit and the big arm pad,
yeah.
and you run and you get your arm bitten by the dog. And so you actually have to be trained to do that in the British Army, because you can't just randomly stick your arm in a dog's mouth.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, dogs all the way for me.
Nice.
How about you?
Well, for me,
How do you feel about dogs, Jeremy?
I like dogs. So I personally, at the moment, I don't have any pets. In the past, I have had fish. I had a bunch of fish, that kind of thing.
Sorry.
I had some fish.
Fish are pets too.
Yes. Yeah. And right now I have a stuffed animal named Dory. It's blue, and she lives on my bed, and she's always swimming. And that's really where I'm at. I know, don't beat me up, pet lovers, but I do have a mild allergy to dogs and cats. Sometimes it's a little worse than others. So that's what mainly prevents me from having a pet at this point. But I do think I have 2 boys. One's 15, one's 18. At some point, they're going to be out of the house, and I'm going to need to replace them. I guess.
You're gonna replace your kids
in my house, because they're not going to be in my house.
That's fair.
So at that point there, if Jen's amiable to it, you could see me being a guy with a little pocket puppy or something like that.
I could see you with a little chihuahua in your candy pink jersey.
My short shorts.
Yeah. So Brendan had a question on Instagram, and he wanted to know, I'm not going to say this is tongue in cheek, Brendan, but he wanted to know, I can't find it, but I know the question.
Okay.
He wanted to know, what is the second best putter?
Oh, well, yeah, because you're going to say the Berg is the
Berg is the
best
number
putter.
1. Yeah. So what would be the second best putter?
Well, you know what he wants you to say. But I don't know if
I'm asking you first. So you give me your answer, and then I'll offend Brendan.
Well, I think I'm going to make a lot of friends with the second best putter that I have. So if I'm not throwing my EV7 putters, then I'm pulling out my Envies. I've got a Glow Envy and I've got an R2 Envy, and those are the ones that I'm throwing. What's your second?
Brendan wants me to say the Jawbreaker Ringer Jawbreaker Ringer GT.
Yes, he does.
I
But you're
did.
going to say the polecat.
I did at Tundra Toss I had a few discs in for the disc swap, so I did get a Jawbreaker Banger GT, which I actually prefer to the Ringer GT. Sorry, Brendan, but I bought one from you, so don't cry to me too much. But no, I'm not going to say the Banger GT or the Ringer GT. I'm actually going to side with somebody in the chat.
Oh,
And I know they're going to be quite happy because I think if I had to pull out a second putter, it would be the Nomad.
Oh,
I think the Nomad has been picked a few times, or
well, and I can remember.
I know
it's
somebody
Tristan Piska and
Kristen
Swirls are both big Nomad throwers.
Exactly.
I think Kristen's are all blue. I want to say, and I want to say that Tristan's are usually like a purpley pink.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if color makes a difference, but
color. Yeah,
I remember hearing Simon Lizotte saying that he would get putters with nothing on the top, like not a single thing, because he didn't want any distractions.
Yeah,
he didn't want to have to rotate his putter to the exact same spot. But so I don't know if people feel that way with colors as well. So
yeah.
Kevin's there. He says Casey Hannemeyer, Briggsy. Well, we did get a chance to talk to Briggsy there at Tundra Toss and tried to cover as much as we could in that time, and that was good.
We had a good chat, 20 minutes or so with
Briggsy that time.
Briggsy,
yeah. So if you haven't heard our conversation with Briggsy, because when we did the Tundra Toss episode, it was a little different than a normal one, but we actually had a chance to talk to Briggsy, to Jana Olsen, to who else did we talk to?
Joel Ellard.
He
came second in the MA40 division.
And we did try to talk to our good buddy Kevin there too, but unfortunately the camera was on slow motion. Again, technical challenges, technical
difficulties. We did also try and get Gabe on, we tried to do a bit of an interview with Gabe.
It was pretty busy at that time.
It was busy. Yeah. The audio, it was interruption. So we ended up scrapping that, but we definitely want to have Gabe on it at some point.
Oh, Kristen says the giggles. Yeah, I'm glad that I got you laughing there. The other thing I was going to say too about the podcast that you guys, we've alluded to a few times, we put out some bloopers, but that's maybe one of the most fun things, but can be trouble as well.
Yeah. We know what to stay away from now. I think we know if we know one of us can go when we're doing the live, we know not to push it. We know not to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we're talking off the podcast or whatever, it can be 15 or 20 minutes before.
Well, when Daryl starts laughing, he can't pull it back together. And then if he gets going good enough, then I can't pull it back together. Sometimes I can, especially if we're actually in the middle of the episode. I feel like I can try and pull it in. But there's a couple episodes, and you can just see it in them if you're watching. There, one of us will smirk, and it's us just trying to hold it together.
Yeah.
So. Looks like Paul's got a good question.
I was just going to say an interesting question from Paul, because I want to know the origin of this, because I think you started it. So Paul wants to know, what's the two fingers on the outro supposed to signify?
Well, it actually has a lot deep-seated meaning. What it is it stands for how close the two of us are as podcast partners. So there's two of us. We're this close.
Yeah.
We're not. We're not this close. We're this close. No, I don't know what it was.
I think it was just like an old moment, like we were trying to be cool. It was like, yeah, Chino.
It really was. It was something like that, and it could have as easily have been Chino Bull's horns. That wouldn't have surprised me.
That wouldn't have caught on, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know where you thought it came from. That was my interpretation of it. It's just that, you were gonna chain out, like it was meant to be like a cool, like peace.
Well, I don't know if it was ever meant to be cool. But what it was we were just trying to end an episode, and I did it, and then it kind of went with the fact that we would come out with these ways to say chain out at the end of the episode. And so we do that. I know it's we've probably exhausted it, but we usually try to take something, and that's on the fly. We'll give you that little bit of information. There is no idea what chain out's going to be. In the script, it just says at the very end of the episode, chain out. And one of us has to figure out what it's going to be, and we don't even know who that's going to be.
And we don't know when it's going to be.
No.
All of a sudden, we'll be talking about something, and we say, and that was a great guest. It was so much insight into TDing and how they run tournaments and everything. But one thing, Jeremy, if you took that harp, you're like, oh, where's he going with this? Oh, okay, now I know where he's going.
Yeah. Well, and the funny
Yeah.
thing was when we had Tim on most recently. So, Kristen, you might like this one. Just go rewatch the end of the episode. Was we figured we know he's watched enough of them.
Third time.
He's been on the third time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was the league updates for anybody who hasn't seen that one. Was at the end we were trying to get him as part of it. So we were trying to lead him into that chain out, thinking it was pretty obvious. But he had I'm bumping my mic there. But he had a whole bunch of hands in there and stuff too. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, so it doesn't really have a meaning, but hopefully, I mean, I know when you said you went to Pudding League, you were doing something, you were on a table, you were looking at something, and then all of a sudden, out of the corner of your ear, you heard somebody say, "Chain out!"
I don't know if they were doing it out of love
Yeah.
or if they were making fun of us, but either way, I was happy to hear it.
There, should we? I don't know if I want to put it out there, but if you ever see us on the disc golf course, we know that you're going to listen. We know that you listen to the podcast. If you come up to us and you go, "Chain out,"
Yes.
you don't even have to say "chain out." If you just look at us and do that,
Throw
then we
the
know-
sideways.
Yeah.
And
Should
I think, we should tell Paul the one other one was it. It ended up being an inside joke thing that made us laugh, but now you guys are part of the inside joke. Was I was out of camera when I did chain out not that long ago, and I was like chain out, and I think my fingers were just like slightly
It's like
here,
a slow burn.
and so I was like and slowly moved them.
See, and this is the funny thing that we find we find this hilarious. And these people are probably thinking, what the heck are they talking about?
Oh,
Okay, let's move on to
exactly.
another question.
All right, yeah, we appreciate everybody who's hung on this long. We can wrap this up if you're ready to call it a quits, or if you like.
No, I'm loving it.
Yeah, keep
Yeah, do
going?
you want to keep going for a bit?
Well,
longer?
I'm good to keep going. I just want to make sure everybody else is.
Kristen
enjoying.
said that sometimes she doesn't listen to the end, so she's been missing the secret words.
Oh,
If you look down in the comments section on the episodes, Kristen, you'll see some random weird sentences put out by our listeners that listen to the end and listen for the secret word. And there was a secret agent that made an appearance one week.
yes, there was secret agent. There was
Yeah.
also the mustache man who came on Brendan's to try to close a gap that we had in the
Yeah.
recording.
There's been a few extra people.
I'll tell you that mustache man was great, but he still doesn't compare to the mustache that Brendan pulls off. That is the best mustache I've seen. I
Oh,
think.
absolutely.
We'll have to. We got to see him. We got to head down to Camrose when he's down there.
Yeah.
We got to go play the Camrose course because I got to see that thing in person.
Do we want to tease that or not?
No,
Nope. Moving on. Kevin, I came to Canada in the year I came to Canada originally in 94 with the British Army. I was down in Medicine Hat, down at the garrison down there. I was down there for 6 months and I met a woman.
nice.
And then I was due to get out of the army anyway. So I came back in 95, New Year's of 95, spent some time going back and forth, but officially moved here in 2000. So I've been here for 24 years.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Your time in Edmonton and my time in Edmonton are almost aligned that way. We wouldn't have known each other.
Yeah.
But I came out here in 93 when my parents bought a Dairy Queen.
Oh,
So if anybody's been to the St. Albert Dairy Queen circa 1993 to about 2001, I probably served you a blizzard.
yeah. Even got the moves.
Yep.
Human names for dogs are good. Everyone likes a human name for a dog.
Yeah, I do.
You
Yeah.
like a dog?
I like a dag.
It's kind of
Oh yeah, trust me, we will be watching the movie Snatch on the drive down to Spring Runoff in
We
one
will
way or
be.
another. And
Yeah.
Daryl will be quoting it word for word as best he can. Maybe I should get you to turn off the sound
Yeah,
and you should just
mime
practice your
along.
commentating.
There you go.
You could do the whole movie.
Yeah, color always makes a difference.
Yes.
Andrea says that. Question, Daryl, what's your beard care routine? I'm jealous of how relatively straight yours is. Well, sorry, Brock. It's a process.
Is
It is. It is a process. I don't just wake up like this. I don't wake up, put on my clothes, and walk out the door looking this good.
Right.
No, it's a there's a beard shampoo involved. Every day, wash it with a beard shampoo. When it's wet, take the hair dryer, get a roller comb, a
Yeah.
roller brush, like a brush in a roller shape, a circle shape. Comb it and blow dry it at the same time. That's where you get your straightness.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
then once it's dry,
Oh, there's more.
there's more.
But wait,
But
there's
wait,
more.
There's more. Then, good night, Andrea. Thank you for
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. It's
for
like,
being a guest. Yeah,
what'd you say, 11 o'clock out east?
11 East.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
Wow.
9 o'clock. So yeah,
Or sorry, you would say, what is that? So that's 2,300 hours?
2300.
Okay, 2300.
2300. Yeah, blow dry. I'm sure people don't want to know my beard care routine, but Brock might.
Yeah.
Wash it, blow dry it, pull it out straight. Take some oil. I have beard softening oil and I have smelling oil, scented oil as well. Run that through, because when it gets to a certain length, it starts to get a bit wispy and wiry and like a bird's nest is what I say.
Yes.
So run that through, and that also stops dry flakes on the skin, stops your skin from itching, because that can really get quite itchy. And then that's what'll get it to this stage. But if I'm going out and I want to look good,
Mhm.
then I'll take beard wax, the little pea-sized
Ooh.
bit of beard wax, which is basically like gel for your beard,
Mhm.
and then pull that through my beard and comb it, and then that's when I can style it, and that's where it keeps its shape and it doesn't fly in the wind. What's your beard care routine? Okay, let's go on to the next question.
Ouch, ouch. Probably the same as my hair care routine.
Exactly.
Well, I did see Sonia ask Jeremy the original building. She's talking about Dairy Queen. So yes, Sonia, when I moved out here, Dairy Queen was still in the Piggly Wiggly building, or the Blind Pig Pub building, as you know it, or the big empty space. It was there. I worked there for about 4 or 5 months. And then the partnership that my dad was in when they bought the store, they were the ones who moved it to the old Harvey's location. And I was part of that, having to move a Dairy Queen from one location to another.
Wow. Kristen is full of questions tonight, and we're thankful for it.
Yes, thank you.
Picks for Jonesboro. Who do you think is going to take it? MPO, FPO? Which is kind of interesting, because we like to say
Mhm.
we're a Canadian disc golf podcast, and we wanted to focus on the Canadian disc golf tour, and we didn't want to be one of those podcasts that's always just talking about the
Yeah,
DGPT.
it's still a great
but
question.
it is a great question, because it's relevant, and we still haven't had any announcements for Canada yet. So
Yeah.
Jonesboro.
Well, of course, who we want, let's just put it out there. We want Chantal Badinsky, we want Thomas Gilbert, and we want Max Rajitnik. That would be our, those are the
That would
people
be
that
the
we
dream
would want
finish,
to
but-
be dream finishing, but they're not quite there yet. And we hope
Yeah.
they get there. And we hope there's even more Canadians on the tour. So making sure that we push our Canadian content out there, that's what we would want.
Yeah.
Now, really, a lot of people would say it comes down to either Gannon or Anthony Barella
They're two
on
hot
the
picks
MPO
right now.
side.
Yeah.
But then, and I don't know, do you have a pick between those two, or would you come up with a dark horse? Maybe the dark horse. No.
I mean, yeah, like you said, AB or Gannon are the two picks. It's probably going to be between. Who else could I see winning it? I mean, after those two, kind of when you get down from like 5 to 10,
Mhm.
There's been a few different picks. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Eagle's meant to be back this weekend, so I would like to see Eagle, because if you do listen to Tour Life, they have a kind of a manufacturer's
Mhm.
tour, standings, and MVP have 0 points out of all the events played so far. So surprised that Simon hasn't been higher up this year. I mean, I know he's had a new kid, so he's probably got to focus on that, and his mind probably isn't in the game or whatever. But I'd like to see Eagle come back. FPO side,
FPO, I'm seeing what Kristen is saying, and I'm with her, is that it's been a different winner every tournament so far on the FPO side.
Yeah.
And last year,
5
Kristen
tournaments,
Tatar,
5 winners.
yeah, she was so dominant, and she's had some things like, if you guys saw that picture of her foot after the one tournament when it swelled up,
Yeah,
that was crazy. But I'm with Kristen. I think Kristen Tatar, or Tatar,
How do you ever say it? Yeah.
is
KT.
going to come out this tournament and just dominate. I think it's about time. I also think, I've been hearing how well Rebecca Cox is playing again. I don't know if she's ready to be in a winning position yet, but it's good to see how well she's playing. But, it really could be up for anyone, but I'm going to say my pick is Kristen as well. What about you?
No,
That's not
I don't.
really a
I don't
hot take.
think. I'm. Being a European, I'm not going to pick Kristen. I think. I would like to think. I'm rooting for another new player. I'd like to just keep seeing new FPO players win. I mean, even on the MPO side, I'd like to see new players win all the time. I don't like to see it when it's dominated by one person.
Mhm.
If I had to pick somebody new to win, I mean, I don't think Kristen's going to win. If I had to pick somebody, I think it could be Own.
Oh yeah, Owen
I
would
think
be
she's a
great
good pick to win. Like she's always, if it's not Kristen, Owen's always right up there. So I would like to think it. Well, I think Owen's going to win. If I had to pick someone, and I want to win, yeah, obviously Chantel. But like you said, they're just not quite getting it over the line at the moment. But if I think somebody else could win, I would think it could be somebody like.
So you're not picking Owen?
No, I'm picking Owen.
Okay.
But I could quite easily see it being a sixth new person winning.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
like another brand new winner.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. I don't know who I could think though. I'm just trying to think of somebody who would, who hasn't won yet already, and that could be, has been up and around the top end of the table.
People too, like Cat Merch is always good.
You know who I'd like to see win?
Who?
Who is like probably in my top 3 disc golfers on the FPO side? I'd like to see Sarah Hokum win.
Oh, that's a great pick. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Well,
Owen Scoggins, Sarah Hokum.
And I've got Kristen. I'm going with
the
the maybe obvious,
boring
but
answer.
yeah. Well, Kristen's getting deep cuts here on her questions.
Yeah. She's asking us for advice.
I don't know if you should be asking us, Kristen.
Ella Hansen.
Is
That's
Gavin
a good pick.
That's a good pick too.
Yeah, Gavin picking Ella Hansen.
So do you want to tackle that one? We could tackle this one, Kristen, but I wouldn't take our advice.
Yeah. Kristen's asking, who should I bench from my fantasy? I've benched each of them once, and each time I do, they're in the top 20. Paul Ulibarri, Andrew Marweed, Matt Bell, James Proctor.
Well, I think Yuli's just been on an upward trend since last year, so I wouldn't take him out. Andrew Marweed, his putting, fantastic.
Yeah.
I got a soft spot for Proctor because he's sponsored by ThoughtSpace, and ThoughtSpace sponsors a lot of Canadians. So I don't know. I've got a tie. I know ThoughtSpace isn't Canadian, but I kind of feel like they are sometimes. So I'm thinking out of the process of elimination, I'd probably bench Matt Bell myself.
Matt Bell is probably the player that I don't know a lot about. He hasn't been on a lot of coverage, a lot of lead card coverage. I don't necessarily follow him that much. So I believe, is Matt Bell MVP? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Because I've got a disc, and I think, but it might not be MVP. But yeah, I would probably say Matt Bell, just because I don't know a lot about him.
There you go.
But don't take our word for it, Kristen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked him in the first place, but that's just me.
There you go. Well, the other thing I just seeing Gavin putting that comment in there, Gavin mentioned in the last live feed that if we head out to Jubilee and that he would like to play Disc Dice Challenge with us.
Yeah.
He just put out a great video, by the way, Gavin. I saw it today there, your left-handed video.
Left-hand only.
Which is pretty crazy. Like I could barely throw right hand, and he threw a whole round left-handed, even putting left-hand. And that seems like it's even more difficult trying to putt left-handed if you're not, with your opposite hand. I know Kevin, it would be his right hand, but.
Now thinking about it, when I seen the video, I didn't watch the video, Gavin. I didn't have time today, but I seen it popped up on my homepage, but I just interpreted it to be forehand only. But no, it was left hand only. So left hand backhand.
He's practicing.
Wow.
Well, however
That's
he wanted to
impressive.
throw left hand, but he was throwing with his opposite hand.
Yeah. That's crazy.
He's already deadly, and he's going to be like, you guys keep an eye out. If you haven't met Gavin yet, make sure to catch up with him. Head out to Spruce Grove, check him out with he's probably hanging out with Briggsy out there. The two of them are always at the course.
Yeah.
But before you know it, Gavin's going to be, he's already sponsored by Equine Discs, and dude, as you continue to grow, I'm just excited to see with your extra length and everything else that's going to come with that, what's going to happen with your game, like with your longer, your height and all of that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But so shout out to Gavin. If you don't know him, check him out. Make sure to subscribe to his stuff.
You soon will.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. Get a signature on a disc from him now while you can.
Glad we could help Kristen. doing putting practice right now. Great, Gavin. That's what it's all about. That's why you get better, Jeremy. Instead of sitting in an office doing a podcast, Gavin's out there putting the hours in doing the putting.
He is. Good job on that. And with that too, we talked about Jubilee. I mentioned that for a minute there. One of the things too, just to let you guys know, is that as we get going here in the summer, Daryl and I are going to get out to some of the courses that we haven't been to. And one of the parts or segments of our show that we were doing before was course reviews.
Yeah.
And kind of giving not like a hole by hole course review, but more of our style of just things to look out for, things that maybe you wouldn't know by looking at UDisc, that type of thing. So we're hoping to hit some more courses. We might even talk about some of the ones we hit on the way to spring runoff or something like that. We'll add those in.
Yep. Yeah. And I know Mike Carey had kind of commented on it that we need to get out to the, the smaller courses, the 7-hole, 9-hole courses around, the Edmonton area that we didn't get a chance to. And it wasn't that we weren't avoiding them. It was just the fact that, by the time we started the podcast and winter crept up on us and it just got too cold to actually get back out to those courses. But they're definitely on our radar to do all the courses in the Edmonton and surrounding area.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that catches us up on the chat. Do we want to address any of these questions here before we go? And let's see if anyone other questions come into the chat.
I think we can start getting ready to wrap it up here. Do you see anything there that shouts out to you? I think we've kind of given people something that they might know about.
Thank you, Brendan. We appreciate the offer. Or are you just talking to me?
Oh, up his way, because he's up Cold Lake way. So we could check out. Because that's where he lives in that area.
Course,
so we could probably check out Bonnyville and maybe catch up with Dan Dupree's because he's out there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I've met him actually at a few different tournaments. He's a really good guy. Yeah. And his videos are great too.
Yeah.
And then we could get up to Cold Lake for sure.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah. But
night,
it looks like we got some people signing off. So I think that's probably a good cue for us too, Daryl.
I think so.
Yeah. So first live Ask Me Anything, you guys came to bat.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate all the questions, the interaction.
Yeah. And what we're thinking too is if you like this and if you're a brave soul and you think you might actually want to have your face shown on the screen with us, we do have the ability next time to maybe bring you on and actually have you ask your question in person.
Should we do it right now?
Which?
If anyone's got a question they want to ask.
Does anyone got a question they want to ask?
If anyone's got a question right now that they want to ask and they want to come on live to ask us,
we'll try to pull you on. Tim's been on before.
Tim's been on before. He's all
look at this. Does anyone
what's
here
a Firebird?
Firebird?
It's not a problem if nobody wants to come on. We can do it next time.
Maybe we do.
We're down to 4 viewers.
We'll do that next time.
We'll do that next time. We'll just put that
before
out
we go.
Well, hang on.
Yep.
How often do we hit the field for practice or field work?
Well, I hit the field as soon as we get back into the season here, like we are now, especially before a tournament. I'll get out once every week or two, and I'll go out to a football field at the local high school by my house, and then we'll throw. I'll throw them out and just practice that way. Just throw out my bag and practice other discs.
Yeah.
How often do you do field work and practice work there, Darryl?
Well, right by my house, I have probably 2 or 3 school playing fields that I could probably they're within walking distance, and within Beaumont, there's quite a few areas that I could easily get to.
Okay.
And I never get out and practice.
You set it up. All right, we got it. Let's do it.
Okay.
We've got a person who wants to jump on and show us something. We're putting on Brock.
Did he say that?
Yeah, look. He says, put me in, coach. I can show off one of the US.
Okay, Brock.
All right, Brock, you're coming on.
We're going to put something in the chat, but only Brock can click on it, okay?
So, yeah, we're putting Brock on.
We're back up to 8. Okay, this is just for you, Brock. So click the link.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to let Brock in here because this is our first time trying this. So we don't want to try and overload it. We're waiting for you to queue in, Brock. It does take about 20 seconds for anything we put in.
That's kind of fair. Jubilee Park is field work.
Playing in a park?
Jubilee Park out in Spruce
Grove.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I guess Jubilee.
I mean, I know
the way Gavin does practice it there. Yeah. Because he's got a wide open space. So definitely. It is for sure. And I think too, just to me is when you go out to the field, I'll take all of my mid ranges and practice with those.
Yeah.
I'll take my fairways. I won't really go hard on my drivers and throw them because it's just I don't want to wear out
Because the
my
football
arm.
field's not long enough for you, right, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not yet. But it is a great way to see how you're getting better if you do go out to a field that's marked with lines. You can also get
Yeah.
an idea of how straight you're throwing because it's like a driving range in golf. You get out there and you're like, oh, look how far I blasted it. But you didn't realize you were so far to the left
Yeah.
that when you get back out on the course, you're in the trees. And it's the same thing with disc golf, if not even more so, because we get some really tight, narrow gaps that the ball golfers don't get when we're throwing.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got Brock?
We're going to bring Brock into the studio.
Great.
We're going to welcome Brock to the show. Hey, Brock, how are you doing? Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
We can hear you. You're a little bit low, but that's okay.
Okay, I'll come closer to my laptop. I'm not in the good setup right now.
Yeah,
No worries.
You're looking good, man. Oh, this is the Firebird. Oh, different colors.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we got. There's a few
Tim,
different
calm down, please. I'm
stamps
sure
here
you're
too.
getting
Tim
overzealous
won't-
on these.
Tim won't throw them because
No?
they don't have Nate Sexton's name on them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
you might need to come in a little way. But
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll get over here.
nice.
Wow. So you got every color there?
I don't got white, but I got
Okay.
pretty much everything.
No,
else.
sorry. I guess the one thing I should be asking are those Edga ones?
No, so these are the players pack discs for the USDGC doubles.
For the doubles.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, are there Firebirds?
Yeah, we got 15 Firebirds. So
Only 15?
Only 15. I guess chain out exclusive here.
Well, that's awesome.
There you go.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Destroyers, Mambas, TL3s, and Rock 3s.
So how's it going to be decided, Brock? Is it a first come first serve? So the people that are there early and lined up, they're going to get their first choice, or do they have to pick on disc golf scene beforehand or anything?
No, first come, first serve. It's that's a lot of coordination.
Yeah. So that is an exclusive. So if you're going to doubles, Mark's going to have to come back and listen to this. He's one of the guys who's going to be there.
Yeah.
You better
He's-
get there
his
early if
partner,
you want
Tyler.
Firebird.
Yeah. No, they look awesome, Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them, I think, like
Can you hold one up again and just bring it a little bit closer? There you go. Okay, the USDGC. Yeah, no, that looks nice.
Exactly as you said. Tim said they're nice, but they're not Nate Sexton ones. So
Yep.
now I don't know if this is not allowed, but are you able to? Did you actually take one out and field test it just so that you can make sure everybody's aware of how they fly, if they're a little stable, understable, where they're at?
I got them, like UPS came at like 725.
Oh,
So
so pretty much right before we came on.
yeah. So no, I haven't gone out. I probably won't go out and throw them because I will probably just take whatever disc is left at the end of the day. If we fill up. So
Yeah.
Gotcha. And whatever one it
Well-
is, the first throw will be a forehand, I'm guessing, hey?
well, probably not a forehand on the Mamba. But anything else.
Well,
yeah.
does that make you want to sign up now?
Yeah. We've been talking about it. Oh, actually, that's a quick question I wouldn't mind asking you. So
Yeah.
did we get enough people registered for the doubles tournament to have 2 spots available?
Yeah, and we're actually 3 teams away from having 3 spots.
3 teams?
3 teams.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeremy.
Yeah.
You've got us thinking you might be down to 2. We'll think about it there.
I haven't busted
Jeremy-
them out, but they did. There is gold, silver, and they sent me gold, silver, and bronze medals with the logo as well because
Oh.
they were confident that
That we were going to get there.
There you go.
Yeah.
When you announced that you needed a couple more teams to get to 2 spots, Jeremy kind of was trying to get me to, was trying to persuade me to, sign up and go in the tournament. But now we know that you've passed it, and now you're almost at 3.
Yeah.
All right. We're thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's check our schedules and we will let you know.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect. Well, thank you for. Do you have a question, or is that you just wanted to be a bit of a chain out exclusive to show off the discs? Which,
Show off the
That's
discs.
better.
yeah,
than
oh
a
no, I'm
question.
totally happy with that.
I'd rather
Yeah,
see
I
that
just
than
didn't
have
want
him
to. I
ask
just
us
didn't
a
want to cut
question.
him off if he had a question. That was all.
No, I'm good. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Brock. We'll catch you. Are you going to be there tomorrow?
Yeah, of course. I won't be there right at 4. So
Okay.
Okay.
Well, maybe we'll catch you as we're passing or finishing up our round. I was going to say passing out, but I hope I'm not passing out.
Depends in that tight
Passing
jersey.
through.
Depends what happens in those tight shorts.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for
Perfect.
that. The tight shorts there.
Okay, thanks, Brock.
okay, see you guys.
There you go. That didn't do too bad.
That worked out well.
Bouchard and I are aiming to beat Dwyer and Brimacombe at the tag team dubs.
Ooh.
People
that's gonna
calling
be a
out
good
people
battle.
already.
Yeah. And I'm sure that Thompson and Edwards are going to want a shot at that as well.
Yeah.
So
It's been a great episode.
it has been.
Let us know if you liked it and if you want us to do it again.
We will.
Oh.
What?
Seeing as Kristen may have already left, but I don't know.
Oh,
if
should we
she's
do
gonna be
that?
here. I mean, it's an episode that we're going to put out. So
Sure.
we did it last time with the Rusty Slipknot.
Okay.
So last time we asked the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, chat. 7 people here. We need a secret word.
I've
Or
got
phrase.
one. Yeah, you guys come up
We
with a
can
secret
put-
word, but I've got a couple ideas. I'll throw them out there.
Okay, go for it.
Beard wax.
Beard wax could be one.
I think that's a good secret word.
Thompson's not on my radar. Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. Kristen's got the moon there, so that means
Yeah.
she's gone. So then
It's
we
time.
can
We're wrapping
we'll
it
get
up
that
now anyway,
secret word in
Kristen.
there. So I got beard wax. What do you got?
You got
Throw
beard
one.
wax. I'm gonna say links for Sonia. Did we mention links?
Yep. Links.
Oh, we said
Links
the
and
chain-
cogs.
the cogs
Links and
the
cogs.
links.
Yeah. Links and cogs. That would be good.
Links and cogs. Cheshire.
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 No, Cheshire. It's like Worcestershire. Worcestershire. We should make that the word.
We never talked about Worcestershire.
But we have. It's like a deep cut to another
Oh, that would
episode.
be no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
It's
You pick it. You got beard.
Oh no, we're still waiting for the people in the
Oh,
comment.
right,
So we
there's
have to use the
20
secret word in the comment. Yes,
seconds.
yes, Kristen. We give you. I mean, not last episode, but the episode before, we made it really tough because one of our
We?
guests. Well, okay, I made it really tough. Colleen McInnes was talking about at the American Flying Disc Open,
Holly
sitting
Finley.
with Holly Finley eating some fruit, and Holly
Specifically
said,
a banana.
my mom always told me not to eat a banana on camera, so she was eating it sideways, and the people in the commentary booth were
Yeah.
talking about Holly's forbidden fruit or
Yes.
Holly's forbidden banana.
Because she turned the banana sideways, I guess, and
Yeah.
took just a bite out of the middle.
So
of it,
that
like
was the secret
smile.
word. So if you go back and look at Colleen McInnes's episode, you'll see there's a random selection of comments about
Holly's
forbidden banana.
Banana. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of anything that we've discussed that stands out. I mean, it's all been about us, so it's hard to really think of a word that's.
Well, let's.
Well, I mean, we're not getting any.
Let's.
Should we go with beard wax?
We're going
then?
with beard wax.
Okay, we've made a
You
decision.
know me. I can't stand the silence.
Exactly. Okay. Leave a comment on this video whenever it goes public, whenever it's available. Beard wax is a secret word, and then we know you've listened to the end of the episode.
And you know, Daryl,
Yes, Jeremy. What?
we're going to be out at Rundle tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're going to
Maybe.
be bringing some of those discs, like maybe
Maybe
your
I'm gonna bring
Echo.
that sweet Echo that people can't believe that I chose the Cax over the Echo.
Yeah. So you bring out that sweet Echo to like
Yeah.
hole number 4. Now this is going to be original hole 4.
We
up
should,
the
we
hill.
should probably should mention that just quickly. Sorry,
ahead.
Jeremy. For those that are playing the Rundle League tomorrow night, you should have gotten an email, but we're excited because Tim
Me too.
announced back to original layout. Yes, it's been a long time since we played forehand on hole 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, which would be right
Oh,
up
yeah.
your alley. Back
It-
to Mando's again. Back to OB again. Well,
Totally
OB where
pumped.
water is.
OB with the paths and stuff.
Yeah,
and the
OB with
water and-
paths.
Yeah.
Good night, Brendan. Thanks for tuning in.
So that's going to be fantastic tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you're going to get to OG hole 4. You're going to have your echo. It's going to
Yeah.
be hot out there. It might-
Hopefully it's hot.
Yeah, it's going to be warm. Your hands are going to be wet. They're going to be sweating.
Yeah.
I think what you
Knees
should do
weak.
is bring some beard wax. And I think you could put some beard wax on your disc.
Oh, I could.
That would help you out with the grip.
It would be a solid grip.
You're going to grip lock that thing.
Oh, I'm not.
You are.
Oh,
It's going to
I-
go right over the public works yard.
Yeah.
And you're going to think, man, that thing is gone.
Well, man.
But it's going to be on such a hyzer and so high up in the air.
Yeah.
It's going to come flying back at the basket.
Yeah.
That beard wax, the only thing it's going to do is stick.
Oh,
What it's not going to do,
it
That
could
would-
never.
disc hits the basket. It's not going
It's
to.
going to go right in the hyzer. It's not going never. Would never.
Shade out!
Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks,
we
everybody.
love you all. Thanks
Thank you.
for joining
We'll
us.
do it again next week.